You don't need millions of people. You need a few people in key strategic places. You need people somewhere in the system, somewhere outside the system, somewhere in other international places, whether in United Nations or USA or wherever, or Ramaphosa, or I do not care whoever it is that is in your team. Even if it's Xi Jinping, for all I care, it doesn't matter. As long as we have got a team with a strategy that will remove these evil people from power, and then you will have to make a decision that you are going to grant Zimbabweans freedom. Because power, belongs to the one who has got power. The one who has got power can decide to free you or to oppress you. You know, Mnangagwa tomorrow can wake up in the morning and say, I want to free Zimbabweans. And nobody can stop him. But instead, they have chosen not to. So I've seen that this thing of power that and Scotty has got to do with anybody who has got the willingness to take it, to grab it, whichever way they're going to grab it. And once they grab it, they will decide whether the country will be free or not. If the citizens are not following that person, you understand? If the citizens are not following that person, but if the citizens back that person, then that person will have even more authority, and access to other means of delivering freedom. But as I'm seeing, Zimbabweans are not ready for freedom. Actually, they want it, but they're not really ready for it. Because if they really wanted freedom, they would have seen that they are being lied to, they're being deceived by ZANU and the opposition, and they will be formulating for something that is functional. But it seems like even the Zimbabweans, they're still struggling with power and ego and all manner of things that are not taking us forward. Let me stop here for now and let others talk. Thank you.
An interesting talk, an interesting submission there, my brother.
Can I come through now?
There's a lot that I would like to say there, but I'm not going to comment on it now. I'm going to let the other guys that just jumped to contribute. Then I'll come back to what you say. But there are a lot of things that, but in case we don't get an opportunity to come back to it, I have to emphasize that there is a need for new leadership to rise. And when I say new leadership to rise, I do not mean young people in the way that we have had ageist politics being made popular. Far be from that. I am talking about just a new infusion of a mixture of all Zimbabweans that are committed to see Zimbabwe become better. And how you best get that infusion is not necessarily maybe through brand new institutions, although that is viable, but it is that those people inserting themselves in available institutions and then chartering a new course if there is room to get into those institutions. Because there is also a serious case of gatekeeping in Zimbabwean opposition and even in civic groups. And the main reason is because the people that have found themselves there who are still holding those institutions in whatever form they are, do not really bother themselves with the delivering of a better Zimbabwe, but they bother themselves with the beautification of their different CVs. What is it that I have done? Where is it that I have gone? Who have I been pictured with? What are people saying around me? And I've witnessed this firsthand, even made these complaints in certain conversations playing on the table. That, guys, I think you are too much consumed with your own images to a point that knowingly or unknowingly, you have betrayed the struggle. But the only way for people to actually resolve that is for you to infuse yourself in those institutions, then pursue the agendas that you speak of. Talking about it and just talking is not going to work. It's not going to work. People can talk for 5 years. I've known folks for 5 years now here. I was not married. I did not have a son. I did not have the title doctor. I've achieved it in the period that I have spoken. All these things, I've achieved them in the period that I've been talking to some of the folks. So that has led me to the conclusion that while talking is important to raise the national consciousness, it is not enough. we definitely have to then take the next leap forward, infuse ourselves into these institutions, or start up the institutions that actually do something. But do not start them up with the same illness that has been there in Zimbabwean politics, whereby it is which figure is extending a hand to participate with me. If that figure doesn't give me confirmation because they are the most known journalist, or they don't give me confirmation because they are the most known politician, I'm going to give up. No, extend your hand to the supposedly nobodies that have never spoken and are speaking for the first time, as long as they are committed to what they are doing. Remember, everyone that you call somebody at some point was also a nobody, right? And you can raise together those small groupings, those people that have no influence, supposedly, that have no accolades or fright. You can partner up and build something that will eventually become the monster to ZANU PF, that will eventually become the knight in shining armor for the Zimbabweans. So in case I don't have a chance to touch on some of the things that you spoke about, I just needed to make that very clear. Take up the challenge. Even if you were to lose, what's the most that you would lose if you were to participate and then become a node, never raise in the political ranks or in the contributions to the betterment of your nation? What do you have to lose? It's just a chance you're shooting in the darkness, as opposed to if you don't do nothing, you're guaranteed you're not going to get anything. You see, but yeah. So, Signor, we attempted to have you speak several times, but I think you were not ready or having a challenge. You come up next. Then after that, we'll go to Tete Kinda. Yeah, Tete Kinda. Then we also have no, Leo is our brother listening close. I think the recording is better when you I speak. But yeah, Signor, please go ahead.
Would have thought it's logical for me to remind the host, maybe might forgotten that for the past hour I've been trying to come up, something comes up and I drop, and yeah, didn't mean to disrespect. Revolutionary greetings, comrades. We are at a time when so many terms that we can apply, crossroads. We are at a time when we are mourning tikuchema Linda Masarira, tikuchema nevamwe vatisina kunzwa kuti ndevanani. Very, very important ipapo. If we think that because I'm known, popularism has killed us, and we think we are the only people that are fighting a revolution, we must think. We don't have to read. We must think and think again. So then it also connects us to unknown soldiers at the National Heroes Act. It means when people are fighting to liberate a nation, it varies from one individual to the others are shy, others are just gifted that way. Even day to day, some people, they just do pledges quietly, they don't want to be known. It is a spirit of working together without really identifying or giving each other numbers to say number 1 up to 1,000. And a borrowed thought from what Ngobani spoke to. We don't need to decide. I would have said, let's decide. To say, are we for that or we are for groups? But I choose to say, let's put our ears on the ground. We are for anything, everything that can get Zimbabwe working. It is a precedence that has been set, not only by Burombo, fighting for your nation. You struggle. You use one hand, the other hand is keeping away those distracting you. Same applies my Mazimbamoto. Single-handed. They've motivated leaders, the nationalists that are popular today. Thank you for the good topic. The forgotten sacrifice. how opposition leaders abandoned Masbaba. I want to quickly say no one was abandoned. We need to be very positive and we need to not just read, we need to connect. Kwaona muchemberi wemuzimbabwe achifamba kana gara pasi, amai makadii, mbuya makadii, chanzwa zvinhu zvisina kunyorwa anyway. Connect nemaveterans kuteli kuti kwakusina proper leadership. Iye murume andakapfeka uyu, I used to think and I'm still thinking, no. So how did they popularism? We can be popular and we can end up thinking Tongo Garai the general. No, commander general. No, hakuna zva commander general. You can tick. Some people can tick on this basis. Others have never spoken here. It is my humble opinion that I think we need to understand that that's how revolutionaries are. They perceived as people who fight. That's all. Men here I'm wearing says, I don't care. I don't want to be part of the ashram. And it's today where I'm still struggling. What did he mean from his wife that kana Zimbabwe yasununguka ina handiende kumusha? Can you see the contrast? Vangani varisiri kuda kuenda Zimbabwe kana, meaning kuti you are genuine and fighting for a nation. To me, it doesn't make sense. Uda kufira kunze kwenyika. But maybe up until if you was alive, I would ask, really, but I think it's a spirit of determination. Maybe vaitotiza nhamo idzodzi tigadzirire kuti tisazonetsani kana taibata Zimbabwe. Haana kuabhandonwa inini mafungiro ari. Mafungiro angu okufunga kuti akaabhandonwa. Hanzi zvimwe zvinosiyiwa zvakadaro. Get me right, guys. Handizive, I'm thinking aloud. Because pakuda kugadzirisa tinoguma zvimwe tomutsa zvakarara. Izvo zvichitori right. If it is true that people just fight, and I think it is true, they fight, they just fight. It's important. Vamwe vanhu vakapikirwa kufira nyika, ndosaka nzvana tafira nyika. Vamwe vari kutonzi budai muZimbabwe right now, hazvina kumira mushe. Vamwe vari kudzidzokera muZimbabwe on the soil. I could be one of them. But hazviteedzerwi. Differences. We are different. It's the way we are born. Because togona kuzoisa chikero kuri ukuku. Tozonzwa vamwe pano paspace. It's not conspiracy. Takazvinzwa tikati vamati oisi vamwe vanoitirwa ndevakaita sei. Nemwari vatiitira nyasha. So Dr. Tadini, taura kusina objective. Indaisa taura so taimbocheka. I was busy. Indiri pabasa, comrades. Nobody in I'm single-handed. I've tested leadership. If I wanted, I would have been there. I've done what I've done. Tangled myself, dangerous stuff on the ground, but I didn't know what I was doing. I believe those who say it's a calling, they are real. So it's very important. It ranges from an individual's group, kana musina, it's okay. Roai bora, roai mabhunu kusvika atiza. It was the mantra in this talk. Zvino dambudziko kuti madzikoma edu hatigoni kuvarowa, hacharovani, but tofunga kutoti head on takatarisana toudzana chokwadi. Mubvunzo wandinawo Dr. Tadini to answer and to which is I think very important. Musanetseke. Don't worry about sinyore. Kana zvakakosha zvinyore muzvishandise. I think kuti tisave nedambudziko rekuzoti vamwe vanozoti takasiyiwa kana kudii nema-omissions. Tikutaura omission panapa so that tisatsvage kuti ndiri kutsvaga zvisipo. How about if you have an association? I'm advocating. When I say I'm advocating, ndinzwei guys. I'm speaking so that mumwe atomhanya atouya atoti chinhu chedu yakarwa namuniswa paya. Chauya nacho pano, if it is my command, hachisiri chako chato pane donation act kana kuchechi. We need to pabata pamacomrades. Hatiti kuti titaure kunge tiri sober. Mweyawo kuti ndakaitira nyika zvakati urima wakazadzwa matiri. But there must be a code yekuti kana wauya neidea panapa yaedu. Sinyoro uri kuzvinzwa. ndiye auda kuparura panapa ndevanhu ndezimbabwe nemacitizen. The united opposition as voices it's okay yakutomhanya nomwe tinongodoneta kaisu. Association for activists mubvunzo uyu because we're not worrying about muri vangani. Kana uri one you can subscribe kune National Arts Council kuZimbabwe. You can come in groups, as an individual you can subscribe, but I'm going to be all inclusive. For what reason? For reason, in my view, to cater for or to solve my problems erudzi rwakadai. And haisi problem ichallenge tikati problem inobva yaita problem. Challenge yekuti tinezenge takangamwa tozoita mweya wekufungirana kuti asi mari iri kudyiwa, asi mai vatiri kutumira mari havasi kusvitsa mari. Because I hear, I listen to understand very carefully. I've heard people saying kweni ndakatumira mari panogona kusadza kunzwisisa, whereas the word is encouraging to do more. Hapana munhu akabhandonwa ini maonero angu. So that can also, in my view, can be backed up in a welfare fund. An association haina zvainoreva, but that for activists, it may not necessarily be a pension. The difference is the same, to help activists in event of them being in a challenge. Vana mana trust, vana man trust, ma trust akagadzirirwa akanga aripo kuti kana munhu ane mbonje achijuja ropa anoenda unorapwa kwarari pakopi. Zvakavharwa.
Thank you very much. Try and land it in the next minute. But I heard your contribution.
Let me land quickly. Amani trust, kana uchiziva Dr. Tadini taura nezvayo kuti tikudhila nesystem inoveza kwete iwewe inoveza wacho anoda kubatsira vari kujuja ropa. I'm not quoting and I'm not going to sugarcoat. They want people to rot. Saka tofanirwa kuti titsvage sophisticated ways of helping each other. Amani trust, the rest you can Google. So this association to me must be beefed up, backed by something that has value, welfare of those that are actively involved. In the times like this, where they are incarcerated, times like when they've died, that means the management team will make sure vachapakura zviri fair senasa, and then we will not have challenges. We will say tine urombo hatina kuziva kuti tanga tinavo vanga vasiri muassociation. Means an amalgamated, non-aligned movement of activists will accommodate anyone, everybody, regardless of your creed, political line. Go, I said, let me yield my mic. It's not a one-man band. It's not a one-day event. It's a lifetime event. Tisavhime takaruma. Saka kunozoexpounda zvinoreve izvozvo chiremba Tadini. Tisavhime takadi takaruma sauti kana kutsvaka chekumagara kuti ndechangu. Thank you.
Sure. My brother Senior. Earlier tata kutombochitsvagiswa chingwa chekumagaro, chingwa chekumagaro tata kutochinzi tichirwire iso tisati tatombonhonga dhora racho rekutenga chingwa chacho. So we have expanded on that one. Thank you for bringing it up again, whereby we have these elements that seed in us division before we have even attempted the solutions that would have spoken about. Amani Trust, that is a very brilliant idea. I'm sure you're talking not about the Tanzanian version, but the institution that we had in Zimbabwe intended to help those that had faced serious challenges from political violence. And we have to resuscitate those things. I'll take you up on the challenge. So that kwanisa kusumuka moti hazve sure takataura nezvacho tikachisa put into action. And today I'm saying I will reach out to the activists, known and unknown, and say, I think this is an essential thing that we have. Katimbo Sangani, tese we have been echoing this sentiment. Hatisabvunzani mapato edu, ngatingotaurirani nezvewelfare, so that these activities of being activists can be held in an environment that is somewhat a bit more safe, or at least we can put in safeguards in when it comes to reaction. So why don't we form an institution that serves that purpose, a fund that runs to assist a constant team that is fundraising for that very dark day, which has become an eventuality. We know that ZANU-PF is going to do something if someone voices or speaks against their position. It's expected for them to do that. So that's a very good one. Thank you for bringing that one up. There are a lot of other things that you touched on, but I'm going to put myself at pause because I can see a lot of people have jumped up and I think they're eager to speak. I just had to comment on the trust and to say I think that is a very important thing to have, and that association. And it will be, in my view, a stepping stone into those institutions that are missing that we've been speaking of. If you can group people that have that confidence to lead or champion issues given the condition of Zimbabwe, and you can get them to cooperate, or maybe on something that's simple, cooperate on how do we respond when the obvious happens to you. I'm sure it will be a stepping stone to having them cooperate on much greater things. So I'll definitely take you up on that one. Thank you. On Gab, Tapiwa, then Mugini. Mugini gave up his position to host to come back and lift his hand. Interesting. Then Fabish, fourth one. Um,
All right, thank you, Dr. Jardine. So, just to backtrack a little bit, when this conversation started, it was quite convincing. Kuti Mazimbabwe Shanduko has been abandoned, and for a brief while, efforts were made to try and see how best we can assist. But I think Tupoy came up and said, no, guys, we already have channels that are assisting this guy. And Mati Rice also came up to also share the same sentiments. And she then invited Mai Rasta, who gave a detailed account of who is working where and how is it happening. So now it's not a matter of
don't exclude this one. Another one came and said that Chamisa is strategically not touching him as a badge pole for strategic reasons. Therefore, he gave an order to say, don't assist. Yeah, the being truthful in Jagupela, editing your arsenal there.
All right. What Mqini just said. So now, it's no longer about trying to find a way of assisting. Where is this yellow brain coming from now? It's no longer a situation of trying to assist Mazimbabwe Shanduko or creating channels. We have seen the people who are already active in that. If somebody is pushed to help, they should contact those people to ease our efforts towards Kutiba Batsilik. Now, the account yakanyorwa Oppo is quite heartbreaking because it paints a picture of somebody who has truly been abandoned. However, groups I think it's also important to try and contact some of these influential people to say, these are the efforts that we're doing. Can you please do a post to just update people, and those who might want to help, this is the contact person. I think we should consider doing that so that could be the message. And it was also going to be fair if Mkoma Hupro had probably done that homework. And in as much as he had a point in saying Kuti leadership has abandoned the guy, but to then also put to say there are well-wishers who are doing certain efforts. Kuti Vanabatsirike, and these are the channels that you can actually do that. Now, later in a situation Kuti we had an organized opposition. This was quite going to be easy for any leader to do a public statement speaking to the people who have been arrested to say you have participated in our first efforts to resist, or maybe it was the second deployment, and unfortunately you have been arrested. We are doing all we can to come and help you, but to put you at ease, your efforts are not in vain. We are at stage 4, and we are going to stage 5, and we continue to do it. If you don't come out, trust me, we are going to see us joining you in there, because you didn't do it in vain. We are actually working towards to remove this regime that is oppressing us. That is something that would give confidence to anybody anenge akasungwa, kuziva kuti at least vanhu vari panze vari kuenderera mberi nezvinhu zvaanenge akaita iye. So because we don't have that, that's why we are having these problems, because we don't know at which stage are we. We don't know if we are moving forward or backwards. And all of these can only be solved. The message Dr. Chadin about joining groups and participating in those groups and formalizing those groups so that they become institutions, and growing those groups, recruiting into